When I was young, I had a stutter. Would come and go, kind of stressful moments, Irish class in school or maths, or when I had to speak publicly, it could come out. It could be quite bad. My mum and dad were keen to help me address it. I went to all sorts of doctors. I remember one time doctor going saying, speech is like a rowing, flowing tap, and you have a stick in the middle. You have to pull the stick out. So I'd be there stuttering at class in school or wherever, and I'd be thinking to myself, pull the stick out. It didn't work at all. But then when I was about 15 or 16, my mother and father sent me to a psychologist out in Rathfarnham. It was really good. And just over a series of meetings, talking to him and listening and doing all sorts of tests, eventually he brought me through hypnosis. I literally was cliche, kind of the watch going backwards and forwards. And he brought me back to a moment when I was younger, and it must have been about 7 or 8, I guess, 6, 7 or 8 maybe. And my parents were rowing. I was in bed at home with my two brothers in the room, but I could hear my parents rowing. My dad had come home late, and my mother and my father were rowing, and I felt upset by that, and I wanted to stop it. I wanted to get out, tell them to stop, but I couldn't. I sensed that no. And I think at that moment, under hypnosis, I was back as a 7-year-old boy. I was bawling, crying. I was in the moment. And the psychologist said, you can say whatever you want. You can. And actually, pretty much, not like miraculous cure, but close to it. Throw away your crutches, as Christ said. I started to improve. I started to debate in school, and I won an award as the most improved debater, which stood on my parents' mantelpiece for the rest of their lives. Small little plaque. It still comes back. Strangely, certain words or certain times in the Dáil or on telly or on radio, and it's still frightening, or it's still, oh God, there's a word coming up and I know I'm not going to be able to say it, and I get caught up. But I get through it, and it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, it does. Sometimes I feel embarrassed, but it doesn't hold me back. And it's my own personal story of how, well, for me, it must have been a psychological thing, not a physical thing. And that moment, being able to go back to it and unwind and rewind and start again, helped me get over it. That's my story of my stutter over the years.